Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We have another massive update from Helldivers 2. So we got a brand new patch. Now we've only recently uploaded a video basically explaining the supply line, so don't forget to check that out as well. But we just couldn't pass up the chance of going up to this update. So let's get straight into it. So we're going to break it all down in here. Now there's a couple of things in this patch that we're just not going to cover. We're just going to cover the essentials. But let's start off with the gameplay. So basically Planetary Hazard Edition. So we have Blizzards, which is on those icer levels, and then we have sandstorms, which seems that we're going to get better planets to have a look into, more desert or kind of rural planets as well. And then missions. So basically with the missions we've seen, and it's a balancing with the missions as well, retrieve essential personnel. Basically they've moved the enemy spawn points further away from the objective to give the player a fair chance of defending the location. So they were quite close to each other and they were running across each other and dying, so especially when you were calling in stratagems. So there are fewer civilians required to complete the mission on higher difficulties. And then the destroy command bunkers now have more objectives, locations. The mission was way too easy before compared to other missions, and it can be now found on from difficulty 5. And basically they've also halved the negative effects of operational modifiers, increasing stratagem cooldowns or call-in time. So if you're avoiding those planets that had those negative effects, well, now you can dive in and it'll be a better chance of getting everything in, so you're not just fending for your life with a machine gun or a hand machine gun or pistol. But let's just get into the meat of it all. Basically the primary, secondary and support weapons. Here we go. I'm so happy when I read this. So we've got a couple of boosts, we've got a couple of nerfs as well, but mainly all positive. So the arc thrower basically fixed the charging inconsistencies. It will now only take 1 second to charge that shot, and basically also reduce the distance from 50 meters to 35. So if you're not wearing the kind of armor set that reduces the electrical damage of 95%, you probably noticed that when you were trying to tackle enemies and your friend was in front of you, essentially we're killing them. So that's been reduced a little bit. So there's a plus and negative there. It's going to be a plus for your team, but it's going to be a little bit negative when you want to really get those enemies at a further distance. And then increase the staggered force. So that means it's not a stun, but it will slow them down a little bit. So the arc thrower has that as well now. And then the guard dog now basically now restores full ammo from supply boxes. If you're using the guard dog and not the rover, basically what it is that you had a machine gun instead of a laser, and if it ran out, it ran out, but now it will increase its ammo once you have that. Now the big one here is the anti-material rifle, and I will be honest, I don't really use it that often unless we had personal orders for it, but the damage is increased by 30%, so this is going to be insane. I definitely have to give this a go. But the one gun that is on my list, and I will be playing this, I've been loving the fire incendiary grenades, and I was always a bit pissed at the fact that the breaker incendiary did less damage than the original breaker, and it was basically obsolete when you had that original breaker. But now we see the damage per bullet is increased from 15 to 20 per bullet. Now when you say bullet, I want to be 100% clear on this. I'm not too sure if that's the slugs per shot, or is it the bullet that comes out once you fire it, because you get about 12 on that spread. So that would be pretty cool to see whether it's just the actual shot or it's actually the slug. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. Do you think it's just the one shot, or when you do fire it, it's each of the pellets that come out? That would be so sick and it'd be unbelievable. And then on top of that as well, we have the 50% increase per tick from all fire damage. So that means the incendiary grenades, that does mean the breaker incendiary as well. And then my second most anticipated gun here is the Liberator Penetrator. It now has a full auto mode. So beforehand it was a great gun, but I always complained about it because I had medium armor penetration. It does push back enemies, but you kind of ran out very quickly and you couldn't do a lot of damage to that singular enemy or multiple enemies. But now it has a full auto mode, nothing on the capacity or the mag capacity or anything like that. But I just think having the full auto mode will just give that better use. More people want to play with it and try it out. Now the Dominator has increased as well. So they increased the damage from 200 to 300, and it's increased its stagger. So that's kind of stunning the enemies lightly. Not like actually the stun grenade, but like it will stop them from maybe charging at you or pushing you, or push them back just a little bit. And then the Diligence Counter Sniper has increased the armor penetration from light to medium. Now the slugger had a negative effect, so it's a bit of a nerf from the slugger. So it's reduced the stagger on the slugger and reduced the damage from 280 to 250, and then also reduced the demolition force. The slugger fixed armor penetration tag and menu, so that had a bit of an issue as well. And then the slugger, liberator, concussive, and senator fixed the incorrect armor penetration on those tags. Recoilless rifle got a bit of a boost as well, not in terms of damage but the amount of rockets. So the supply box will now go from 2 to 3, and then the spear will increase the number of missiles you restored as well from 1 to 2. And the heavy machine gun had the highest fire rate from 1200 RPM, and it's now been reduced to about 950. So that's all in all with all the guns. But then also we have the Patriot exosuit. Rockets will now penetrate armor only on a direct hit. So if you fired armor and it hit a rock or hit the ground, it won't penetrate that armor. It will do damage, it just won't break that armor or penetrate them in that sense. So you can still do it for the lower enemies, but when it comes to the chargers and stuff like that, or you know, the hulks and the automatons, it won't do a lot of damage. So just be careful on that. Got to be a little bit more accurate. And now the big one as well when it comes to the actual overall gameplay, balance adjustments have been made. Chargers, normal melee attack, normal melee attack does now less damage on the exosuit. So basically it won't blow up your exosuit on one hit. You'll be able to take 1 or 2 shots. Boil spewers and nursing spewers do less damage when they puke. So if you're close enough, they do kill you with 1 shot, or they break your shield overlay, so you won't actually die straight away. So you'll be able to kind of fend them off, especially when there's 2 or 3 of them. But if there is 2 or 3 of them spewing at you once, you will die. The Bile Titan can no longer be stunned. I didn't even know that. So that's pretty cool. Shriekers no longer create bug breaches, and Shriekers hitting you while they are dead does do less significant damage. So Shriekers, when they're flying and you shot them out of the sky and they land on you, which seems like it was like a predator missile, and once you killed them they land on you, you died immediately. They will do a lot of damage, they just won't kill you. Okay, now with the armor adjustments, basically the heavy and medium armor protects better, and now you take 10% less damage than before while you're wearing the heavy armor, and 5% less damage when wearing medium armor. The fortified commando and light armor are basically unchanged, so it's great to see that now we can use that heavy armor. It's going to be amazing. It gives you a lot more versatility and variety within your selection, especially for whatever levels you're going in, and that's how they intended it. And then if you're playing on PlayStation, which I do, fixes where saved settings for the PS5 would be reset when the game is rebooted, causing things like such as loadouts and hint settings to reset. So there was a lot of times where I couldn't see what samples we picked up because it's reset it depending to my default ones. I don't know why I turned it off in the first place. And then the loadout, you can't just load up and dive into a game. You kind of had to make sure that you had the right loadout, so you had to be very cautious when you were doing it. It was a bit of an issue, but I think people just adapted to it right now. But it's great to see that that's been changed. And then with the exosuits, basically, if you get out of your exosuit, the bugs never targeted it, or if you called it in. But now when you do leave the exosuit, or if you call it in, bugs will target it, the automatons will target it, even if it runs out of ammo, so it will be there as well. It'd be nice to see if you could supply the ammo, especially if you're carrying the supply boxes or backpacks on your back. That'd be pretty cool to see, to resupply your exosuit with rockets or whatever it may be, even if it's only like 1 or 2. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of the overall kind of look. We'll keep everything else up on screen, but the ballistic shield, which I never used, had some changes. Collision mesh has been slightly increased in size for more forgiveness. The changed shield post for so that less of the Helldiver is exposed, addressing bugs where part of the Helldiver will become more vulnerable when using the shield in first person. So yeah, there's a bit of a change. So if you're a ballistic shield user, you're getting it. You're getting a buff. And then we'll leave the various issues involving invites and crossplay up on screen right now. So let me know what you think with this update. I am absolutely ecstatic when they change things with the guns and give us plus instead of minus. It's absolutely amazing. People are going to be trying out new guns, they're going to try out new loadouts, and it just brings that creative side back to the community, especially now that we're fighting the automatons and we're going to be moving over to the bugs. So it's going to be nice to see. So a lot of positive to the Helldiver team, not so much onto the enemy side. So we're going to be able to do a lot more damage with this type of fix, so I'm really happy to see it. And guys, let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on these updates, what you're going to be using, what you're not going to be using, and yeah, any feedback at all to improve the channel would be great. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks guys.